Hey everyone, Ollie here. So we have the new MacBook Air. I have been really looking forward to this. This is one I bought myself. It's not a review unit, so I can do with it what I like. But yeah, let's get straight into this. Packaging is actually very similar to other sort of MacBook packaging recently. There's nothing too different about it. This is the base model, so it has 256 gigabytes of storage and 8 gigabytes of RAM. So let's remove all of this. Wow, actually, it's heavier than I expected. Like it doesn't feel as light as I was hoping it would feel, to be honest. But it is incredibly thin. Wow, it is super thin. We'll get to that in a second. So this is the midnight option, the midnight color option. So it looks like we have a nice midnight colored MagSafe cable. This is super nice actually. And that's actually one of the benefits of this new MacBook Air. You technically get an extra port because you don't have to use one of the Thunderbolt ports to charge the MacBook. Now you can charge the MacBook with this, whilst also still having access to 2 Thunderbolt ports. Put that back in there for now, because to be honest, I'm not even a MagSafe user. It's awesome, but I'm not really a MagSafe user. In here, I think we have some stickers. You know, that's what we all came here for. Oh, midnight colored stickers. Wow, okay. Now you know you've made it when you've got midnight colored stickers. You know you've made it. Then we have the charging brick. So this is the 30 watt power adapter, 30 watt charging brick. But I know you can actually use a more powerful one. I think you can use up to 70 watts. So basically you can get more than double the speed. So you can charge your MacBook at double the speed if you can find a 70 watt adapter, charger, brick, whatever. And yeah, on Amazon you can get lots of bricks which are around, well, which do up to 100 watts, even more than that. Some do 200 watts, which is pretty insane. Okay, so oh, I already like this color a lot. Oh, okay, this color is very nice. It's not black though. Like it's definitely blue. It has a very big hint of blue in it. Like, which is a shame really, because it would have been nice if we got an actual black one. A matte black MacBook would be awesome. But this still looks absolutely incredible. That looks so clean. Oh, I just love how thin it is. It is incredibly thin. Like, look how thin that is. That is insane. That is just crazy thin. I can already tell though that it's an absolute fingerprint magnet. So if you're someone who doesn't like fingerprints, yeah, you are probably going to be better off with either the space grey, the silver, or the starlight colour that they currently, well, the new starlight colour that they've just brought out. On the bottom, there is surprisingly nothing. I'm trying to actually keep it in focus, because if I put it in the middle, you see, it just loses focus. But yeah, on the bottom, yeah, there's no MacBook Pro or MacBook Air even written on the bottom like there is on the MacBook Pro. And obviously it has the new sort of like feet on it as well, which I think are quite nice. Just looks a lot better, I think. I feel like it's now matching obviously the new MacBook Pro designs and stuff, and I feel like it just looks really good. More squared off design just makes it look a lot more modern. Really do like the look of it. Anyway, let's get into this thing. So there we go, it's booting up. Let's move the screen protector. So yeah, this has the new larger 13.6 inch screen. Is it 13.6 inch? Yeah, 13.6 inch screen. The previous model had a 13.3 inch screen. Again, actually, now I'm actually having it in my hands. Maybe it is a little bit lighter. I mean, I'm sure it is a little bit lighter, but I really am liking this midnight color though. It's really nice. My iPhone case is a midnight color. I'd say the iPhone looks a bit darker though, to be honest. It doesn't look as blue as the MacBook does. It does look very blue, I'm not gonna lie. It looks very blue. The keyboard is black, which when I look at it now, I actually don't think it looks right. Black on blue. Not sure it really looks all that right. Yeah. Other than that though, I really do like the look of it. I really do like the color. I think it looks really nice. If we go through some specs, so it's 1.13 centimeters thick, 1.24 kilos. It has the new M2 chip. Not a huge improvement over the M1. I think people who are considering moving from M1 to M2 probably isn't worth it. You're most likely better off waiting for maybe the future M3 or something like that. Apple is saying CPU performance is up by 18% compared to the M1, and GPU performance is up by 35% compared to the M1. Up to 18 hours of battery life, which was also the same on the old MacBook Air. And MacBooks are known to have amazing battery life. So yeah, 18 hours of battery life, I wouldn't be surprised if you could quite easily get that. Like I said earlier, the screen is bigger. It's now 13.6 inches compared to the previous 13.3. So I do have a MacBook Air, an M1 MacBook Air. I also have my MacBook Pro, my 14-inch MacBook Pro, and I'll bring those in shot so we can compare them basically. I also wanted to thank Clean My Mac X for sponsoring this video. Clean My Mac X is the ultimate Mac cleaner tool to keep your Mac in tip-top condition. It has various features and tools that helps you clean your Mac and keep it running smoothly. The Smart Scan feature is by far the most popular. It examines your system for log files and user cache that's no longer needed. It also does a quick malware check and runs optimization tasks to speed up your Mac. There's Space Lens, which shows you which files are taking up the most space on your Mac and if there are any duplicate files on your system. One of my other favorite features is the uninstaller. I like to always try new apps, but sometimes I forget about the ones that I don't use anymore. The uninstaller can quickly remove the apps that I don't use anymore and any files related to them, keeping my system clean. There's also the new menu bar app, which shows you quick recommendations and an overview of your Mac, including things like if there are any malware threats, as well as how much memory or CPU you are using. So make sure to check out Clean My Mac X. I'll leave a link to it down in the description below. So here is the original M1 MacBook Air, and then we had the new M2 MacBook Air. And yeah, you can see the redesign very clearly quite here. You know, this looks more almost like bulbous. That's the best way to say it. And it is definitely thicker. I can definitely tell that this is thicker compared to this. It just looks so much more modern, the M2 MacBook. Like, it looks so much sleeker compared to this. You can see the M2 MacBook Air is more sort of squared off. It has a much more squared off design compared to the M1. It makes the M1 from this angle look thinner, but it's not. The M2 MacBook Air is definitely thinner, mainly because the M1 MacBook Air obviously has this sort of like roundedness to it. There's almost like a curvature to it, especially on the bottom. You can really see how much thicker the M1 MacBook Air is when you look at it from this sort of angle. You can see here how it's just quite a thick boy, really. it's quite a thick thing. But then with the new M2, you know, it's just one slab all the way across. There isn't a part that's thicker than the rest. So yeah, pretty much the same all around. But yeah, it does get fingerprints, that's for sure. I can definitely tell that it gets fingerprints. I mean, with a microfiber cloth, if we get a microfiber cloth, yeah, with a microfiber cloth, you should be able to just, yeah, can quite easily get the fingerprints off. But if you're someone, I mean, I'm sure not everyone is carrying around a microfiber cloth like I do. And I'm sure everyone isn't wiping down their gadgets like I do as well. I'm pretty OCD when it comes to making sure all of my devices are clean. I'm just not really into fingerprints or anything. And I like taking care of my gear. So yeah, let's open it up actually so we can see. Oh, that's a quick thing I should probably say. You can see the keyboard differences here. So this does use the new keyboard design with the sort of bigger function row of keys at the top. And you can see the old MacBook Air, the function row of keys aren't as thick basically. The Touch ID button is also a little bit different. I think the trackpad on this is higher, but then the trackpad on this is wider. Is it wider or is it the same? Am I just seeing that? I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, this is definitely the best keyboard Apple make right now. It's so nice to use, especially compared to that scissor keyboard they had a few years ago. That one was absolutely awful. I had so many issues with that keyboard. But yeah, this is definitely the best keyboard they make right now. That's another thing I completely forgot to mention, the notch. So you guys can see, if I bring the MacBooks over, there is now a notch on the new M2 MacBook Air. So yeah, you are getting more screen estate technically though, because obviously you now have the top bar as your menu bar. And I think that the bezels are obviously thinner as well compared to the older M1 MacBook Air. So I do like the screen. I feel like the notch just isn't a big deal. Once you start using it, you don't even notice it. You forget that it's there. And most of the time, it's just taken up by the menu bar. The webcam on this is also better than the M1 MacBook Air. So yeah, I want to test all this stuff out. I will have a proper review video of the M2 MacBook Air coming. So I want to test all that sort of stuff out, like the M2 chip, of course, the webcam, of course. I want to see what it's all like. But yeah, let's get my 14-inch MacBook Pro. So here is the 14-inch MacBook Pro alongside the 13-inch MacBook Air. So let's wipe it down quickly. Just get it nice and clean. Get it nice and sparkling, lovely jubbly. But yeah, you can just about, I mean, I don't know if you guys can see on the camera, but I can tell that this is obviously a bit larger than this. You know, it has a 14-inch screen, it's a 14-inch MacBook Pro. This is a 13-inch one. So yeah, you can definitely see the size difference, but this is considerably thinner. I can already tell. Yeah, I can already tell like straight away. This is so much thinner and lighter compared to the MacBook Pro. Makes sense. This is a much more powerful machine. It also has fans and stuff in it. So yeah, it'll make sense that it's heavier and thicker. It needs the airflow, it needs that space. The MacBook Air is definitely more of a portable machine. As the name suggests, it's a MacBook Air. It's supposed to be pretty much exactly the same. They look so similar. I can tell that the screen is bigger, of course, on this. Oh, by the way, if you guys want to get this wallpaper, I'll leave a link to it down in the description. A new wallpaper pack that I released recently. Keyboard and everything, exactly the same. The keyboard layout is exactly the same. I'm trying to see if there's any differences. But no, it looks exactly the same. It's basically just a baby MacBook Pro. That's the best way. That's the best way to look at it, I think. It's just a baby MacBook Pro. So let's get the MacBook Air back into shot because I wanted to basically go through the pricing and sort of what you're getting for your money. Because the M1 MacBook Air goes for $999. The M2 MacBook Air goes for $1,199, $1,199. But in the UK, it actually goes for $1,250, $1,249. So that's even more expensive than it is in the US. That's a £250 price jump for us people in the UK and a $200 price jump for people in the US. For $200 more, I mean, to be honest, from looking at all the other reviews and seeing what other people have said, I'm not sure it's worth it. Like, it's only worth going for the M2 if you don't already have an M1 MacBook Air, I think. I think it's only worth, but then the M1 MacBook Air, you can get it on offer and get some really good deals. You can get it for like $900, maybe even cheaper than that, $850 in some places, if you can find it on offer. If you're going for the base model, that is. I think that just makes it a really, really good deal. This is the machine that I've been recommending to all of my friends, all of my family, especially people who are just using it for web browsing, word processing, spreadsheet editing, all that sort of stuff. If you're not doing anything too creative where you're not editing videos every single day, you're not editing photos every single day, maybe you're doing that sort of thing now and again, you're going to be completely fine with an M1 MacBook Air. Like, you're just going to be completely fine. You're not going to really need much more power than that. What's the point of spending that money? But when it comes to the M2, the improvements are really small when it comes to the power. And of course, there's the whole sort of controversy with the SSDs in it. I personally think that's being blown way out of proportion, mainly because this is a base model MacBook Air. Like, the people who are looking at the base model who are happy with 256 gigabytes of storage, they're not going to care about SSD speeds. Now, of course, it's not nice that Apple have made this technically slower when it comes to SSD speeds compared to the M1 MacBook Air. Obviously, that's not right. I still think they should have probably stuck with the 128 gigabyte NAND chips in it. But in reality, it's just not going to make a difference. I know for a lot of my friends and family, they will not notice the difference whatsoever. Like, it just won't be an issue for them. And especially for someone who's transferring lots of big files frequently, 256 gigabyte is probably going to be too small for you anyway. You'll most likely upgrade to 512 or a terabyte, which again is so expensive to upgrade. I don't know why Apple charged so much to upgrade to those storage options. Pretty ridiculous pricing. But yeah, for those who are looking at 256 gigabytes, I think you're just going to be completely fine. And with the M2 chip and the minor sort of performance improvements over the M1, I think if you're going from an M1, it's not worth the upgrade. But if you're coming from an older Intel MacBook, or maybe you're coming from a Windows machine, I think, yeah, it's probably worth going for the M2. But like I said, this is still a cracking deal if you can get it for less than the regular retail price. It's an absolutely cracking deal. The M1 MacBook Air is an absolutely amazing machine. With the M2, obviously you're paying for a new design, you're paying for an extra port, you're paying for a better screen, and you're paying for the better webcam. Oh, and I guess the speakers and mic are also better. So you are getting a few things there, But I think, is it still worth spending that extra money? I don't actually know yet. Maybe after I've used it for a couple of weeks, after I've used it for a month, maybe I'll have a better judgment. Really, when it comes to these chips, the M1 chips and the M2 chips in the MacBook Air, this is sort of like top dog right now. I feel like this is the one that I would recommend to most people, especially if you're just using it for web browsing, for word processing, spreadsheet editing, all that sort of stuff. This is definitely the one I would recommend. It just makes a lot of sense. I think for the battery life that you're getting, the performance that you're getting, it's just so worth the money. It's really good value for money, I personally think. But yeah, sort of getting sidetracked a little bit. I just wanted to share some of my thoughts. I do think that this M2 MacBook Air is very, very nice, especially in this midnight color. I'm looking forward to using it. I'm going to try using it as my main machine, see what it's like. Hopefully I don't get too frustrated by the limited 8GB of RAM, because I'm going to try editing one of my videos on it. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And I'm going to be keeping this machine because when I travel, when I go on holiday, I don't want to carry around my very expensive and quite heavy 14-inch MacBook Pro. If I'm not video editing and stuff on the go, this is going to be more than powerful enough just to edit a few photos here and there, maybe edit a small video if I need to, and it will handle all of my other work, no problem, especially when it comes to web design and web development. You know, designing in Figma, writing code in Visual Studio Code, all that sort of stuff will be completely fine on a machine like this. So yeah, I'll have a review in a few weeks. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter and subscribe for more.